A brief history of Centurion Vehicles. Centurion is recognized for producing some of the most desirable F250 and 350 trucks from the OBS era. This is a brief look at where they came from, some of the vehicles they built, and interestingly, why they seem to disappear just like that. Genesis for Centurion Vehicles was in the late 70s when several partners formed the first modification shop in White Pigeon, Michigan. Originally, the company specialized in purchasing basic Ford van and truck chassis directly from Ford and then extensively modifying these to fit the unique special or multi-purpose needs of their commercial client base. It was after doing this for several years that in the early 80s, Centurion decided to launch some limited direct-to-consumer vehicle sales, and their first widely recognizable vehicles began. Through the mid-80s, the partnership between Ford and Centurion grew, with Centurion packages becoming available for direct order through Ford dealerships. Options immediately ranged from the somewhat practical to the absolutely insane, built to some impressive levels of individual detail, the likes of which we won't see again today outside of bespoke luxury cars. Some of the best-known upgrades are the infamous wood-grain dashboards with the Centurion symbols, some well-needed 90s center console upgrades, private jet-worthy leather or cloth captain's chairs or badass benches, with a full-size backseat to match and an optional 28-inch cab extension allowing the back seats to fold into a full-size queen bed. Pulling all the 90s rodeo girls in this bad boy! Technology and entertainment upgrades included high-end audio systems with remotes, TVs with roof antennas, VCRs, CB radios, and more interior ceiling lighting than any mere mortal could possibly handle. Exterior features included the brilliant custom two-tone paint jobs, running boards, roof racks, brush guards, tow packages with heavy-duty hitches and wiring, off-road upgrades, larger tires, reinforced shocks, anything you could possibly want. Once completed, Centurion would ship the vehicle back through Ford's dealership network for delivery, giving customers the convenience of ordering a fully customized truck with dealership-backed service and support. Centurion didn't stop there and in 1987 debuted their own four-door SUV, built by combining F-Series and Bronco parts to create a full-size four-door, nine-seat 4x4 monster. It was a sweet alternative to the Chevy Suburban, which was pretty much enjoying a monopoly on third-row truck-based SUVs at the time, and was available with a wide range of Centurion-based customization options. First, let's go back to the early 80s and see where we began. Centurion in the early years focused on converting Ford vans and trucks into customized commercial vehicles for commercial clients. When they dabbled into private vehicle sales, they thought, let's combine the best qualities of the van with the utility of a truck. And let's be honest, if you saw this and were wondering how they managed to progress and full-on partner with Ford, who can blame you? The 80s must have been a wild time. But nevertheless, Ford executives saw the beauty beneath the ugly duckling that was the first attempts, and through a few years of practice with F-Series truck packages, in 1987 they launched the Classic. The Centurion Classic. Centurion's most iconic creation was the Classic. Debuting in 1987, this four-door SUV was originally inspired by the Mullet, combining the sensible F-Series truck platforms at the front and the Party Life Bronco components at the rear. This three-row, up to nine-passenger 4x4 was originally built to cater to commercial businesses, but as mentioned, with the Suburban enjoying the private three-row SUV market to themselves, Centurion and Ford decided why not offer an alternative to families, outdoor enthusiasts, and generally anyone wanting just a badass Ford truck-based SUV. Having worked for a time in the Canadian oil field, I can well believe there would be a market for such vehicles, as we pretty much exclusively were driven on and off-site in lifted 7-passenger Ford Excursions, both diesel and the V10s. It probably cost $100 in fuel every shift change, but that was the price you were willing to pay to get your folks 30 miles inland on back roads through Canadian winters. Production. Running from the 87 model year until the end of the underpinning Ford models in 1996, the Classic's total production is estimated at approximately 15,000 vehicles, but exact figures remain unknown. Built across all three F-Series platforms, the Classic was available with Ford's V8 engines, including the 5.8-liter gas V8, the 7.5-liter gas V8, and the ones you want, the 6.9 or 7.3 diesel and turbo diesel varieties. Like most private vehicle sales, it's believed the majority were built on the 1500 chassis with the gas engine option. Even a lot of the big boys tended to be spec'd with a 7.5-liter gas engine over the diesel variants. So if you find a turbo diesel IDI or Power Stroke version, it is a rare and respectable truck indeed. From some research in early 2025, it looks like a good one will set you back 40 to 50K, which is a lot of money, but when you think about the fact that this was built in very limited numbers to begin with, and who knows how many of them have been ruined by now, chances are it will only go up in value, and it would be a pretty damn badass truck to own. Pricing. A standard Bronco was priced at about $25,000 in the early 90s. A Centurion Classic cost about $45,000 to $50,000. Is that a lot of money? Yes. But as compared to prices of vehicles today, where an Escalade, Denali, or Navigator all cost about twice that of a normal SUV, the Centurion value really actually does kind of stand out when you have extensive customization options, premium features, all from a bespoke third-party builder. It was a pretty fair price as compared to some of the mass-produced luxury vehicles we see on sale at dealers today. Custom truck packaging. Just because Centurion had started building their own classic SUV did not mean that they took their foot off the gas pedal in the early 90s, building some of the most legendary luxury packages and other standout packages for the F250 and F350 diesel models. Packages that today would absolutely destroy anything from a product segment of a King Ranch Platinum or Limited Edition. People like to look back today on the mid 90s when a truck was a truck, but they seem to conveniently forget the Centurions with the most absolute ballin' out interiors, huge leather seats, wood grain TVs, just absolute legends of their day. And this is back when a Rolls Royce used to use an old GM 4-speed. Pricing. Very similar to the classic over the Bronco, an F350 of the day would cost you about 25 to 35,000, whereas the comparable Centurion upgraded version cost about 45,000 depending on how you spec'd it. Compared to that today, where a limited package is compared to a standard truck, and you can see a Centurion is roughly in that same ballpark, which goes to show the price of trucks today, but also goes to show just what an amazing value for money package the Centurion was in the mid 90s. Decline of Centurion Vehicles. Where did they go? Top of the world to nothing? Yep, that's exactly what appears to happen. A number of changes hit Centurion at the end of 1996, and it just appeared to be too much for them. Cease in the traditional platform. In 1996, Ford ceased production of their current OBS chassis that underpinned the F-Series trucks and the Bronco SUV. They had big things in the works, and they decided to take a year off of selling the traditional F250 and F350 before the all-new platform would come forward in 1998 with their Super Duty trucks. This effectively ended the underpinnings of the Centurion Classic, while at the same time halted the trim packages that Centurion offered on the F250 and F350 truck lineups, which was a major setback for their revenues. Ford was also evolving its own product marketing at the time with new luxury packages and new SUVs, including the Ford Expedition, a big 3-row, 4-door SUV new for 1997, as well as the groundwork laid for the Ford Excursion to come out in 1999 and be based off the new Super Duty chassis. We may never get it confirmed, but it seems like the ending of that Ford relationship and that platform really took the wind out of Centurion's sails. It's possible, too, that their managers saw things like the LX450 debuting in 1996, the Lincoln Navigator, the Denali trim, the Escalade all coming in quick succession, and just realized that their time in the market had come to an end. And perhaps it's better that way because our king was a king and then went out in glory. Now, do any of us want a timeline where a Centurion is just like some plasticky bits stuck on a normal Ford? No, that would be a disgrace, whereas we can look back on the Centurion and just say, my God, what a truck, what an era, what an OBS classic. The spirit of Rome may never die, and we will not allow the Centurion name to fall into the dusty pages of truck history. This legendary company is responsible for the best trucks from the era known for having the best trucks, making Centurions one of the coveted diesel gods of the road. Let me know if you agree below. I am starting a Kickstarter campaign to find and purchase the Centurion trademarks, and we will bring glory back to Rome and the Centurion nameplate. Thank you.